Good evening, all. For the first time in a week, students went back to Harding High School today in St. Paul, 7 days after their classmate, 15-year-old Devin Scott, was stabbed to death there during a fight in the hallway. The return was not easy, but necessary to move forward, just like it was necessary for students at Central High School to return from time off after their classmate was shot outside of a community center across the street from their school a month ago. The St. Paul community, its students, have had far too much to deal with, and none of that is lost on its district's superintendent, Joe Gothard. Last Friday, just before noon, St. Paul Superintendent Joe Gothard's phone rang.
I was coming back to the office when I got a phone call and had to pull over to the side. When I had learned there had been a stabbing at Harding High School. It was at that point when I heard the person on the other end that I realized how grave the situation was. This was more than an altercation or a fight at a school by the tone and some of the details that they shared with me.
Within hours, we learned the student, 15-year-old Devin Scott, was dead, and the suspect was his 16-year-old classmate. Did something get missed last Friday? Did the St. Paul Public Schools fail Devin?
We will have to do our due diligence when the time is right and determine what could we do to be better, to be more responsive. We clearly want to avoid something like this from ever happening again. And if that means that we've got to look at protocols and practices that we have in place, that's what we're going to do.
Almost immediately, people began to say the school, the district, has to bring back police, also known as school resource officers in those schools. The district stopped contracting with St. Paul Police to provide those in 2020.
It gets to be a really complex thing when focusing only on SROs. But I do know that there are instances that take place in our schools and our communities where our staff are just not equipped to deal with it. It may not be SROs, and I've heard people say it's just, police in another name. I understand that. What I'm saying right now is that I do think they're an important part of the network for us to keep schools and communities safe.
Safety, he said, is sadly where almost all of his conversations go with district leaders everywhere.
Locally with my counterparts and my colleagues here in the metro and throughout the state and throughout the country, this topic comes up in every conversation we have in some way, shape, or form.
Which topic?
Violence, weapons, and what are we going to do?
That's the broader question. But another people had is why it took so long for Harding students to go back to class. Here's why.
I woke up Monday morning and the first thing I thought of is that Devin's mother was not waking him up for school. That was the first thing that I thought of. So going to Harding and spending time with our staff, I was watching the stages of grief right before my face, and it was hard, it was emotional, it was necessary, but I knew then and there as I departed for my portion of the day that we were going to need more time.
Time to grieve and breathe to be able to get them to this morning, back to school again. I mentioned the St. Paul District partnering with the mayor and police chief in a plan for public school safety. Mayor Carter said, yes, that's true, and that when it comes to keeping our kids safe, he said nothing is off the table. Police Chief Axel Henry said, yes, they are working with them too and will work together, the three of them, to get a safety plan everyone is comfortable with.